Good day, my ladies and gents. I'm Mama Kitty. Welcome to my video. Mama Moth is going to show you how to make me and how to take me to your house and love me and hug me. So here's Mama Moth. So this is Mama Kitty. She's the mama to Avery's Here Kitty Kitty. And I wanted her to look a little bit like the Here Kitty Kitty. But she's a little bit more primitive. So I'm going to have some kits and I will take you through the process. I do think I will do one of the screenshot videos and give you an idea of how she's made, but she's pretty simple. She's pretty basic and simple, especially because Mrs. Perfection is going to cut everything out for you. So when you open your kit, it's just like stitch by numbers, sort of. So Mama Kitty's going to go have a rest, and Mama Moth is going to show you all of the fabrics and what's going to be in the kit and how to make me. So I really couldn't do this kit without this old quilt that I took apart. And I have some taken apart and ironed. See if I can get those out. And there is still more of smaller pieces and even different fabrics in it. But it is very, very aged and old. I would say possibly, look, here's a piece. Look how fragile it is. This is the front of the quilt. Look at that. It's just falling apart. And it was knotted. There's one of the knots. It was knotted with it looks like wool, string. It looks like string, really. And it wasn't easy to take apart. So this was inside of another quilt that I had bought, an old quilt. And do I have that? The blue that I have in the pattern today was not the inside of this quilt. This was the backing for this quilt. And you can see there's still holes where the knots were. But it's very worn. There are some places on it that are threadbare, which is really a good thing when you want to do something really primitive. It really goes along with how I do my rugs. I always, oh, there's one. There it is, threadbare, you see? I mean, it's very difficult to reproduce that and make that look that way unless you're using something old. And I always say in my rugs, age as much as possible before you cut and make that first stitch. It's so much easier, and then you can just slightly age it after it's stitched to have everything go together. And that's pretty much what we're doing with Mama Kitty. Now, oh, there's the blue. This is the blue that I'm going to add with it. I didn't use that with Mama because I didn't want to waste it, because I was playing with the colors. But this quilt was inside, and then this was the outside of the new quilt that she put on top. and knot it. So that's really nice old fabric. But I would imagine that this quilt was probably, you know, 80 to 100 years old now. I think it's fabric from the 20s, 30s, perhaps. But it is just, it's so nice. It has a different feel than newer fabrics do. So these are very heavily aged with stains. I'll just go through some of them. There are these. Now, it's also faded on one side. Now, let's see. See, it's brighter on that side because it's the inside with the seam, and it's pieced, of course. Not pieced good. So it's just a make-do quilt, but the outside would be the side that you would use for the kitty, not the bright side. And it does have stains, different types of fabrics. There's a stain. And I'm going to use the stains because this is a very primitive Mama Kitty. And so everything that you can put in for age, it's good to do. Now, oops, there's one. Now I wouldn't cut that. I would just use lightly aged. And here's another type. It's just all sorts of different fabrics. And they all blend together because they've all been faded and aged. And you can see the difference with the seams. Seams are a different color. So, and then there's a couple of these pieces that are nice. Then there's the blue. I have the two different plaids for the pocket. And on it goes. And here's some pink, light pinkish shade. And this I found on one of them. I don't know what that is. It's 24113, but I think that proves it's pretty darn old. Then the sashes that were used was this pink, and she even used black thread. This was the dickens to take apart. Oh my goodness. It was, I'm pretty sure it was a treadle machine. And it was backstitched. Oh, she was the queen of backstitch, let me tell you. And the thread, the fabric was very worn and aged and thin. And the thread stayed. You couldn't pull it. You had to use the seam ripper and just, oh my. So that is the main ingredient to create Mama Kitty. Again, I mean, I'm going to have kits, so if you don't like this old thread-worn, threadbare fabric and the stains, please don't don't purchase it. At some point, Avery will have the pattern. He'll have it as a digital download, and then, of course, if you do need it sent by mail, that's always what I'll do. But he just started school, and I have to give him a few days to adjust back in school before I get him to do some patterns. Now, I wanted to show you, let's see. You notice that there are dents here. I have 3 of them. I really should take those out. I don't quite like that. The ears go in. See? The ears go in a bit. I gave him dimples, her dimples, and she has a snout. Let's see. How can I show you? See, she has a bit of a snout there, and you can tell that it's indented here and that. That is to make it not look flat, to sculpt it. And I'll show you what I did. And I didn't do it very good either. So, oh, Dee, if you're here, do you remember these? I use these all the time ever since you gave them to me. So the thing that you need is a very long, heavy needle. And I just used black thread, good strong black thread. And I would just do my finger here where I wanted it to come out. And then I would just put the needle in and feel it. It's easy up top, but once you get down here, it's quite a bit to go through. You just do that. I would not do a knot. I would do some back stitches to hold it here. Then I would go out, and then I would put it back in, or I can do that. So we'll just pretend that that's knotted back there. And then I would press it down and put it back in. Feel it on my finger again. Somewhere there. You can always feel it on your finger. And then just tighten it and back stitch it, always in the back. And if you use black thread, of course it doesn't show. Now, the thing I did, and the reason that it doesn't look as good as it should, is because I stuffed it, and then I thought about, and then I stuffed the whole body, and then I thought about, well, you know, I'll do these little stitches here and give her the cheeks and things. So I had the whole cat stuffed. What you would need to do is you would stuff the head and stuff here, and then just work it so that you have these. And as you stuff, you would do it. You would do the threads. Also, you need a big glob here for her nose. And that's why it's not as good as it really could be if you do that. Of course, you can do it just the way it is and have it flat. She will look good. I'd suggest, though, that maybe you put something to represent her ears, maybe. And, of course, you can do the eyes much better than I can. I just use tiny bits of a piece of fabric. And I think it should be embroidered. I think these should be embroidered. This for a pink nose, you know, a red, you know, age red. And remember, if you do the dye, you can do this too, so that will age with the tea. And the eyes, I think, would look better just filled in with like a satin stitch or something. I'm not really good at any of the embroidery except the blanket stitch, so that's why I did it that way. Now, I will show you the way to do this in just a bit, but I wanted to mention she's stitched, where am I on the camera? She's stuffed, and then you have to put her feet in, and I do have a photo of that, and then you have to slip stitch it here, and I did that with light thread just so it would show up, because probably I'm going to unstuff her and send her to someone. I'm not sure yet what we're going to do with her. Avery's kitty has gone to a good home. So yeah, you this is where you sew it around, and then you stuff from her bottom up. So, what else did I forget to tell you? I will show you the blanket stitching. Now, I'll show you the cotton because everything's going to be cut out. But this is just the raw edge. Where am I? This is just the raw edge. And it may fray a bit. That's all you need to do is just take your small embroidery scissors and snip as you go. But it worked very good without being stabilized or turned under or anything like that. It really worked good. And that was 2 strands of floss that I used, and the floss was the same color. So now I want to tell you a bit about how I aged Kitty, because I know we talked about it on the group, but I really think she needs to be aged. Not the wool, just the fabric, because it is different shades, but this is her apron. So what I did was I used 2 tea bags in 1 cup of tea, and you can do it with the tea kettle, but what I did was I put it in a pot and I just let it simmer for a little bit on the stove. I did put 1/2 teaspoon of white vinegar in. I always like to use vinegar when I use tea. I just think it helps to go in the fabric, and it helps to age it and makes it darker. But I used that, and I just used a brush, paintbrush, and I went over her 2 or 3 times. I tried it once, and it didn't, it wasn't very dark. So what you would do is you would do it two times. Just let her dry, and if you like it, then that's fine, but then just do it some more. Keep your tea and just heat it up again. I wet her with clear water first. The reason being, yes, I like the stains, I like the little ones and things like that, but I don't want a big blob of something. And if you put the dark tea on dry fabric, you're likely to get that. So I wet the fabric first with clear water, and then I brush the tea on, and then I'll wait a little bit, brush it on again, and then I'll let it dry. And if it looks good, I'll leave it. If not, I'll repeat the process with water, clear water, and then another set of the tea dye. So that's that. Now, I think it's time to, and this is the difference. So, I know we said you liked it white on the group. Some of you did, but really, my thinking is it needs the dye. So now we will go into the actual kit and what it is. And Mrs. Perfection is going to be doing the kits up. Now, there was no way that I could figure out, which is why I got Mrs. Perfection. There was no way that I could figure out how to take these and put them in a kit for you to have a pattern and then you cut your own. It just didn't work because I couldn't get very many kits out of it, for one thing, because something like the pocket, you can get 4 pockets there. The arms, you can get enough for 1, and the collar, You know, you can get 5 or 6. So that's why Mrs. Perfection is going to cut every darn piece in this kit for you. Because I know that so many of you wanted the kit. And actually the fabric is just too good to waste. It's too precious to waste. So now let's see. I have to move my chair. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this is what happens. I will be, well, this is Perfection. It's going to cut those. And everything, you just lay it on. I'll take everything off and show you. Okay. Okay, so when you get them, where is it? Okay. Everything will have a sticker, and it will show exactly where it's supposed to go. I seem to have lost this one somewhere, the sticker. But this would be the dress top, I think, bodice or something. And this is the right paw. You know, when Mrs. Perfection does things, she does, oh gosh, I can't take that off. She goes to extremes, of course, yeah. So everything will have a sticker on it and be cut when you get it. This is the apron. Right arm. And everything will have a sticker. I got the right foot and the left foot, but I need those to show you something. So they fit even with your pattern, which is going to be cut out. You get 2 of these cut out. Now you have to be careful that you have, it's like this, I think, isn't it? Yeah, you have the high shoulder to your left. So you just follow what it says. Put the arm on, and everything fits to the edge because you have to stitch a 1/4 inch in from here when you turn it. And this is the left paw. Is that right? That's that way. I have to be very careful when I do these. There. And you'll notice here there is a little indent. Well, that's where you put that inside, and then you just have that to do. Then your pocket goes on, and you can adjust those for wherever you want to do it. And which one was this? And they should all fit, and they go on top of one another. Now the arm goes even like that. And then this is the right paw, and there's a little indent there, so that means you put it over. And then you put your pocket on. Now, so that's how they will come in your kit. Now, oh gosh. Okay, come on here. It's getting close to 3 o'clock here. And I get a bit ditzy. in this time of day because I was up since 2:30 this morning working on this guy, girl, whatever. There, so they fit with the edge. Now your apron, you put this on and this on, and then your apron goes over the top of both of those pieces with like a little 1/4 inch here. And you'll notice the two things. So you just place it on until it's pretty good. And then you would add the arms, and you just keep going and adding. The last put on is the arms and the collar. And remember, that goes even with the edge. And you can adjust those. I like to iron it, and then, not with the stickers on, but I like to iron it and then pin it. And I'll show you. Now, this, I was going to put this one, but I found it would be nice, and I probably will on some, but this should have something similar in a pink here. And I didn't want to cut any more fabric, so I chose to use the smallest piece. And this goes over the top. And this overlaps for the collar. And it goes right up here like that. So keep them like that. This overlaps. It's really very simple. Couldn't be any simpler. It wasn't simple to create it though, but I had this is my, well, the mama is my 3rd mock-up, and I decided, yes, that's good enough, and I'm going to do it. So it's just that when you make something flat, it changes the look when it's stuffed. That even the, when I had the eyes were a little too big when I just had it flat, and they look good when they were flat, but when they were stuffed and you have that 1/4 inch, all that, stitching all around, and then you stuff it, it's just, it changes the look of it. So, okay, now everything looks good. You can't be more perfect than that, I don't think. Now, as I said, I did, the stickers were off, and I did iron mine, just so it was nice and flat. And then I put pins in everywhere so it wouldn't move. And then I basted everywhere. And then that keeps it in place. And you don't take the basting out until after you stuff it and turn it. So basting stays in, and then I go around and I blanket stitch when it's flat. Easy to do, and you will have the pattern in the kit for the eyes and the nose and the mouth. However you do embroidery. Now, I used press and seal. So if you're using press and seal, you would just put it on your paper and draw them, and then put it on and embroider it. I'm not sure what other way you would do it. Transfer pens or something like that. But you can embroider it when it's flat, so that everything is there, and that you keep the basting in, and then once it's all blanket stitched, and you don't need to do a blanket stitch just because I did. Do a decorative stitch. Just keep in mind that the look is primitive. So, don't go, I would suggest not to go really fancy with it. I mean, if you wanted to put a French knot there for a button, if you wanted to do something decorative for a band around here, just whatever you think. Please don't just do a blanket stitch because my original was that, because that's really the only stitch that I'm decent at doing, and if I don't do it for a long time, I'm not even decent. So, and then once you have that, like this, with your face embroidered, you put the two sides together. I wonder if I'm going to get in trouble doing that. You know what I mean. You put the two sides together like that. Pin, stitch around until you get to here. Now, for the feet, you will need to stitch around the feet and use as small a seam allowance as you can. Just because the regular one is a 1/4 inch, I mean, just do as small as you can. So anyway, you would stitch around those, and then you would turn it and stuff it. And then you need to take your top piece here. This will be here. So I can show you better with a picture. You need to stitch your feet on here after they're stuffed. You need to do that 1/4 inch. Don't go above that 1/4 inch, but stitch these on so that they're secure, but they are turned right side out and they're stuffed. So that's what it that's what it looks like. I've turned it, I've stuffed it, then I put the feet on her apron, and then that gets turned under, and this gets turned under. These are already attached here. We'll just pretend that this is open. And then you pin, put your stuffing down solid and pin, and then this is your place that you would slip stitch the opening. Now I've used that light thread, but make sure you use dark thread. And look at the, oh gosh. And that is Mama Kitty. She's got a bit of a belly. Can you see that? Make sure she has a bit of a belly. I've put a couple stitches here because it was kind of flat and out here. So I wanted her to have a good snout, good nose. So again, I took that needle and put it through. And it's very easy to do. It's really nothing to it. So that is, clear everything up here. And you will have a, you will have like this on a sheet of paper that you can use. So, okay, let me clear this up. Get everything. And I just have a minute to tell you my last thing for this video. I hear the Hurley. Brother Moth is on his way in. So if he opens the door and yells, That's Brother Moth. Now, the next thing after I finish all of the kits, it is just threads everywhere, is going to be this. This is the next one that I will do. Now, I'm not going to do it this large. This is Grandmother's Flower Garden. But you'll notice that there is, you'll notice that there is one here. So I'm going to do the center just as it is, and then I will add, instead of the red here, I'll keep adding 2 more rows. And it is cut off there, I know. I know someone mentioned that it just looks strange, but I will do it as a diamond, and then if you want to cut it off, you can. So it will be the black pennies, the little tiny pennies, and the tiny pennies have to be out of something very solid, because those are very small. I do have that pool table felt, and as I said, you have some of that brown from the pool table felt that when Lucas moved his table, it's 100% wool, and it dyes so good, and it stitches good. It's just wonderful. So this will be, and then I'll have the base, and then you would do the lining. So that's going to be the next thing that I'm going to work on. Now, I'm not sure. I know Moth David wants a Papa Kitty. I'm not going to do it now, but I do think that it should be a mama and a papa. So, of course, I don't think the papa would like plaid overalls. I'd have to find something old for the fabric for him. But the thing with the papa is you're really going to have to change the pattern, because you're going to have to, she's very short, but you have there, and then you're going to have legs to come out, stuffed legs, which is easy. It's not difficult. But at some point, I think Mama will have Papa. So thank you, everyone, for sticking with me this long. I know it's always long videos. I hope the lighting's good. I hope the video and audio is good, because I really don't want to do this again. Mama was fun to do. It was sort of a challenge. As I say, it's been a long time since I've worked with something not flat, because the rugs are flat. They're pretty easy to do, but yeah. So, Mama, say goodbye to everyone. Goodbye, everyone. I hope to see you in your home soon. Night, nights.